Late one evening in November 2014, a Dutch photographer quietly posted a photograph on Twitter that he'd taken earlier that day in one of Amsterdam's fabulous museums. With the caption, "A new generation of visitors to the Rijksmuseum," his picture showed a group of 11 schoolchildren sat right in front of Rembrandt's The Night Watch. But the children were not staring up in awe at Rembrandt's masterpiece. They were instead engrossed, heads down, staring into the small glowing rectangles they held in their hands. Over the next few days, the photographer watched in amazement as his perfectly innocent photograph went viral. What was most curious, however, was not the fact that the image was being shared, but was instead the commentary that was being posted along with it. "Oh my God! How could we have reached this?" wrote one disgruntled commentator. "Sad that we rely on virtual information rather than appreciate the beauty of real artifacts before our eyes. Like these two activities can only be mutually exclusive." One person was so distraught by the photo that all they could do was respond in emojis. Occasionally, someone would offer a more positive theory on the situation, but for the most part, the bandwagon of disbelief trundled on. 5 years later, that bandwagon is still rolling as every now and again the same photo pops up on social media and the whole merry dance starts all over again. Even though the schoolteacher who was responsible for the kids at the time has gone on the record to explain that the kids were indeed using technology to learn more deeply about Rembrandt and the painting, it's a truth that no one really wants to hear. From pop culture to stories like this in the media, over the past 100 years, we have slowly and steadily curated a society whose default position is to be fearful of technology, aware only of its limitations and more or less completely ignorant to the incredible potential that, when used wisely, technology could bring to every single human on the planet. How many of you would be as productive in your job if you had to leave your phone or computer in your bag and could only check it during breaks? You see, for all of the perceived problems of our use of these devices, most of us wouldn't want to be without them. Recent studies have shown that the average UK adult spends almost 3.5 hours a day engaging with their phones, and 78% of us claim we could not live without access to them. And yet, 95% of the schools in the UK actively control how such technology is used, with most banning access to smartphones and other devices during the school day. Given that school is supposed to be the vehicle through which we prepare younger generations to be able to take up their place both in the world of work and more broadly society as a whole, I think that by restricting their access to mobile technologies in the classroom, we are derelict in our duty to help prepare them to be fit for purpose for the world that they will actually inherit. And this fundamental discrepancy between how much we rely on technology in our everyday lives and how we exclude the same potential from the education of our children is the core part of the question I would love you to consider. I am absolutely convinced that helping our kids build a really positive, healthy relationship with their phones will be one of the defining factors in the success of their lives. The technology that is placed at our fingertips today is so powerful that with it, our children will go on to solve some of our biggest problems. I think the potential is absolutely there for them to be able to use this technology to cure cancer, to solve climate change. But they will only be able to do that if we act now to change the way we think about the role of technology in their education. We shouldn't be excluding technology from learning or even restricting such learning to be about the tools themselves. This is not about learning to code or even to use Word and PowerPoint, but is instead about helping people develop fundamentally human skills like critical thinking, creativity, communication, collaboration, and the ability to develop and show empathy and respect when dealing with others, either online or offline, because these are the things that will really matter most for all of us in all of our futures. We all know the transition won't be easy, not least for many of the teachers and indeed for many of us adults. But the alternative of doing nothing is far, far worse. Our future deserves individuals who are confident in their relationship with technology, who can wield such power to achieve great outcomes, not just for themselves, but for our society as a whole. This can only happen if we act now. Instead of banning smartphones, we should be welcoming them into our classrooms such that we can work and engage with our young people to help them nurture a positive personal relationship with the technology that unleashes their potential, just as we do with any other core literacy or life skill. If we can do that, If we can help every student, every member of our family, every member of our society build and develop these fundamental skills, then and only then will we as humans be able to rise up and live up to the potential that this amazing technology has to offer. The rise of the humans has to start with us, and it must start now.